If I suddenly notice, the entire room of the woman's body had wavered. The also buttocks of Ju knew that leaning of the shadow man also living, but his tremors flickering. He tightened a huge human flesh of both sides. Doubted that it would be crushed. Suddenly, even stage lighting turned into a deep red light. Two of the shadows' pale looks white in bright red crazy dance. Duet of Kyoemi of They Came. Was Hibiki Wada to the room full. And, finally it came last woman falls down earlier, but had been wriggling a while thanks Kuroishiku. Eventually, no longer work as corpse. Red appearance of the man fell superimposed on it, and, two, but struggled to stand up 3 times. Also made to limp, became he also does not move. It disappeared also lingering Kyoemi of Futari. Silence of death has visited. Stage lighting is off. It became the true darkness. The body of Ju knew that Kageotoko is leaning also. No longer also a fine movement. Even that warm was body temperature rapidly cooling. Became cold as the dead skin. Customer, did you think? Out of the darkness, I heard a man's voice. It is not, that's it. I remain more and more horrible taste. However, before that, I want to have a little talk. Customers would also be tired. Over there of the room. Give you something to drink while you will talk slowly. So, if, here, quote, Kageotoko was taken a hand to someone. Then, leave the lead of the other party. Beyond stepping on the hills of the man-made body of a woman. In the darkness, we're being led somewhere and not know as well. The last sale. The lead was a drawing room of the luxurious underground. Bright Western style of modern style. Those taggy furniture also of the latest style of abstract foods had been aligned. Kageotoko is imparted only to the armrest of the long chair. Take the most simplistic attitude. The man who led him, in the armchair of the other side, I was sitting behaved well. In indirect lighting with no exposure light at all. Wide room was shining as oxidized silver. The man appeared to be about 40 years old. A fair complexion, not fat well, to plump face, was not keep a good cuckoo small mustache. Mouth is gently like a woman. Had been an unusually red lips. Big eyes double eyelid under the thick but thin eyebrows were agile moves. Wearing the new clothes of the double-breasted of living tailoring. Did not release the pipe of Bria from the mouth. To there, 15 wearing a bright red dress. Pretty girl of 6 years old. Have entered by pressing the silver wheelbarrow by arranging the bottles of various liquor. The thing of your choice please. From it, here there is also Figaro and tobacco. Kageotoko is, remains to be said, taking a cigarette of Egypt. He lit the fire of the writer out pointing girl. Then, while hemlock brandy, drinking in a 2-neck. I ordered a second helping. Cigarettes nor drinks in per superb mouth, but because exhausted in a series of stimulus from earlier. Would remembered the pleasure, such as shunt. Customer, did there's a how is watakushius of the extra touches that make. Gentleman of fair complexion of the short mustaches. In the gestures of the west flow. It asked reverently, this is nice, although I am a man. Not rarely surprised by the things. I today was we take off the helmet. Really surprised. By the way, are you here husband? Or, do you that the president's? Kageotoko is little cause himself put the brandy glass on the table. First of all I like that. People before does not think deliberately. Even before you the name of the customer. We are supposed to be not suggest. I know that, but, for the secret of this blinding. A little what may I ask? Tokyo Underground, that the reveal is such a horrible another world. Do you integrity of any country illusion? Man of small mustaches laughing smile. I was relieved I hear it. Your customers are perhaps, but had been afraid of Irash Aru to saw through kind of blinding. After all, it is their seed. Even then I was shown the dream. It does not have also had hypnotized. Species testimony. It may be wet blanket the contrary. However, Watakushi is. After you have hope there you can see. We have to be sure to see testimony in this room. Know that you do not musabora the deception of profiteering, because I would like you to watakushi tashimishite. But's a boast that I hope now you can see. Those selling 500,000 yen. Fact is that there is more addition. In the past, deception of the world is to speak your kibutsu only. For the true selling things, we will talk later. As before, the watakushi of the invention, I'd like a little to the bragging. But, quote, it'll is where I also wish. There is not a dream. If it was real, really want to hear the exposure of a trick? Is not to satisfy what with it. How? Please refer to the bragging enough. Kageotoko is beside the girl, while Hemlock, the brandy of the four cups me, also takes the armrest, and in the form that most lay, was staring at the small mustache and red lips of the other party. If most bite, it is a panorama principle of customers. Do you know what's called panorama hall that was popular in the Meiji era in Japan? Unfortunately, I just have to ask, I have never seen. Story. Actually, since Watakushi, also a Taisho born, is not seen thing called Panorama Museum of the Meiji era. I just have read in Mononohan. If you moored it, the French 19th century, it was invented there. Watakushi believed that it is one of the great invention. The inventors have found that, in the world of this reality, we decided try to create a different world entirely. Theater, front of a different world. Such as a movie, there is no difference to those who will show it to. Just on the inside and the screen of the stage of the frame is another world. Even if the dark haunts seat, because there we are still the real world. Or, you play, we will not be able to dispel the feeling or something. Painting a lie, haunts us while aware of the side seat in the corner of the mind theater Nari. Nari movie theater. You are looking at the stage and screen. They're fictional and reality, there's a conflation. Purely cannot be devoted to the fictional real. Of that kind of impure reality, surface was let except take in completely. It was a great idea of the Panorama Museum. Panorama Museum was a circular building, such as a gas tank. Upon entering the entrance, there is an underpass, such as the dark tunnel, and go up the stairs and went through there. From our eyes, this reality of the world is vanished entirely of Tokyo, where another one of the world to the emergence to do. It was up the stairs from the underpass as a narrow haunt seat that came to the island. There's the center of the circular building, sightseeing in between, running through a dark underpass, and insulated from the real world. Then, up the stairs, when the package in the range of vision was Hirake, is there to there is another world serving Kobaku. Ignoring the town of Tokyo of reality, we have a large plains and the ocean as far as the eye can see. A small panorama museum of the infinite sky is spread in the building. It has followed much the horizon. Japan's Panorama Museum of the Meiji era. Many had been Genwa views of the war, such as Manchuria, out of the dark road, when the package in the range of vision is Hirakeru. Manchuria of Hirono had spread to distant infinite there. There is a distant hill enemy fortress is right in front of the Japanese army column of field artillery. Soldiers carry the ammunition. Muzzle blows the fire. We vomited smoke. It hit the fortress of the enemy. There has been angry fire. Japanese military infantry corps, in response to the assistance of the fire, marched in the hills of the fortress. The enemy corps' Kuda came in from the hills and tried to prevent this. There has occurred hand-to-hand combat. Enemy cavalry commanders Hazamawari in the vertical and horizontal directions. Soldiers to be stabbed in the bayonet, was hit by a neck in the longsword. A scene in which the neck is soaring in Zhangtian. The explosion of mines that blow the rock, which explodes in the sky. One side fire ally. Military personnel, thousands of, or we continue to luridness fight in front of the spectators' eyes. In a small circular building. Why to achieve that kind war field? To do this, it is their elaborate a deception of the panorama inventor. The side of the back is the wall of the circular building. We draw a lifelike oil painting of the landscape there, absent-minded from the horizon, continuous to the vaulted ceiling of the building. There also have been drawn in the blue sky and clouds. Sightseeing, even if facing either of the hall. The horizon has followed, and, as it spreads out the sky that appears to infinity on top of the head. Since it was difficult in those days are still using the electric lighting, you must open the window of the caratory on the ceiling of the building, in order to hide the glass window of the caratory, just above the haunt seat. It is what made the small roof, such as shade, sightseeing in because it does not look on top of the small roof. An empty building of the dome. Was the illusion in the sky a little tear? There is no truth. Of the thousands of soldiers in the battlefield, dozens or was the life-size living doll. Also because living doll, but no longer seen in the now. In the Meiji era seems to have had it in the master. And a fine sculpture in Polonia wood, painted chalk, over the polished people I made a look-alike doll it is. So, the Persona's panoramic pavilion. It seemed to be really alive. On the ground laying the soil of real. Planted the trees of the real. There to live arranged a doll of a person. At the same skillfully dodged the border me with oil painting of the background. Even the person who wrote the picture. A still three-dimensional live-it doll and discrimination was as not stick and soil of the real. I and the oil painting of the soil. Was the look exactly like the same ideas? This contrivance seemed a narrow circular building inside an infinite Hirono. Dozens of bodies of living dolls, and conflation with oil painting of a person. It looked to the large core of thousands of people. Watakushi is, by the book, I learned the secret of such panorama museum. Then, the application of this great principle. In another world of infinite to the underground was thinking about creativity, such as it was not anywhere in the panorama museum in the world. Did you desire and want to achieve the perfection of beauty? Then, they spend in years of 4 years. The capital of 100 million. We achieved it. Watakushi is, by smuggling, had been reservoir in 100 million or more of assets. It was entirely use played. This just, let there as you can see the other. The ocean is infinite. You customers have a look. I did not only refers to past jitsu an odd circular panorama. Underground to create a circular cavity. To in the periphery of the circular ceiling. Taught a huge canvas. It was to draw the oil painting of the sky and the sea. On top of your customer's head. Let there be you remember that there was a small round roof. It all of the lighting on that had been hidden. Unlike the Meiji era, now you can use the free power, etc. Glazed caratory. You do not need any. Of course. In front of the background there is a water true. However, it's not just a small pond. To each other in leftover places, such as the sea floor of the valley only one place. You there in the beauty of the flowers are in bloom. But the others are, you a very shallow pond. That beauty of the flowers, but appears to be in blooming countless. Real human flowers I have only 3. The eye had looked blankly at them towards the bottom. Not only divinal fake. In that part, there is a lighting hidden in the water. By devising of the illumination, it shows the infinitely deep valley. We are look like in bloom a myriad of flowers. Even mountain range that could be just another beautiful woman, is due to the principle of the same panorama. The across of that circular cavity is actually 7. There is only between the bees. Woman of the real is not only to 60 people. After that a mannequin doll. It is oil painting. Order me with that thing in a picture. I have been skillfully dodged thousands. Is not visible to the mountains tens of thousands of women. All what? How does not only illusion of the panorama has gone to the so exposure of a trick? I think it is not in the precious Shin became catapulted. President of the short mustache is smiling a strange smile on the face, such as fattened a movie actor Adolphe Menjo. It ended a long talk. No, I far from that. I increasingly admire Wet Blanket. but is what is variously studied the back of the secret that does not appear to the public of the surface, that a person like you is he in Japan. It's why that is not even no underground panoramic country of the king a little. No, I was surprised. Made a dream. It is your business to sell the dream. It is the most luxurious your business in this world. Quote, Kageotoko had admired the truth. This attractive thought, that's what I want to be, a man and the best friend of small mustache. From the open here, does not still be only half a year. Your customers, well, there's a 16 people me customers. Trust the words of Pon Peaky old man. 50 throw the yen it is. 10 to 6 months because there is also a 6 people. Was there a wonder even for Watakushi? Even so, it would not have worked. Daughter close to 100 people in 2 of the panorama. It becomes attracted you in the waifu. In nami of salary but will not be able to keep pull. And there, I have a Watakushi as a secret. Ku weighs what is enough good in there. At all. But you have to as you like. Do not allow to leave out even one step from this underground. Parent brothers both, it is insulation. Salary does not pay, but so to speak, is not confined to the prison. Though strange, but the first has been reluctant. Gradually, according to get used to, you come to feel such that it is not so much fun to work. Discard the parent, lover, even throw away. I would fully become a resident of the basement. However, here is available at some of the young man's the bait to keep pulling the girls. Stretch of beautiful and poor youth us has learned the finesse of all lust. They 5 alone. 6 people. There are also those that are nakaniwa, manipulating 10 or more people. So, kind of young man 15. Enough with 6 people is. The youth have audited. Watakushi of the instructions, a henchman to obedience to the absolute. Quote, then, the young people are, and the division of labor. I mean that come to kidnap the ground of the daughter. Ah ha 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 ha, the sides will leave it to your imagination. Small mustache president was a shy laugh like a woman. Butch of the dance of the last to see the blood also, do I alone of such youth. This is Hitorasama. Some let there is a quite beautiful youth. Int that the 2 of really do you shed blood. Do this also was blinding eye of panoramic. No, I really shed blood, because does not cut deeply. But in life you do not have a different situation. You need a considerable number of days to heal as there are only scratches. But, that the 2 of, or damage, better or injured does not have the undoing by sincerely I like. Remuneration. President there in off the words. Smiling a strange smile, saw the face of Kageotoko. Then, the lower the little voice, or else become tone, such as can fight a big deal. Now, earlier, I will be the most important consultation, which I mentioned a little. Do you customers will not take their partner you like that I want it together because good even in this woman in one day. You must not be a woman to be free in your power of Somerset. Though very fond of, is people like that just do not able to miss around. Landlord of Hikori Masumi. Jaja horsewoman is dismissed stubborn. Or your friend's wife. Woman president. A woman scholar. Even in people of any status. Is quite as difficult if Mizuka Shikari. Let me remind myself that kind of personage. By Watakushi us the secret of means. We will take always here. And you I will to suit the summary of Oboshi Meshi. Kageotoko was amazed yet again. It was new to marvel at the villain the first time. Not know the depths of small mustache president. I mean that there is worth of 500,000 yen. Of course I would be kidnapped. There is no difference in the kidnapping. It does not do as never rough it. Also, do not worry about never being noticed in people. There is the Watakushi as the secret of the technology. In other words, is lover kidnapping underwriting business. Working, you will find a lover kidnapping underwriting business. Then murder contractors there is also a I also available Irapoku. Small mustache president set of short foot, arm in arm, while supporting the mouth of the pipe in his right hand. He was laughing and grinning. Lover kidnapping industry. For Kageotoko. Even just scenery amazing I've ever seen. But he seemed rather cheap. Small mustache gentleman. Anna thing is only kibutsu. 500,000 is actually the lover when he shed pulling the reward of kidnapping. To exert the service the first time. But the other party was bad. To bear the name Kageotoko was not what I say. Taka mine of flowers. Since his character argument I do not have the word impossible. Dat any woman, if you try to get, had the power to always get. In addition, in fact, it was also put in hand. He had dozens of lovers to his also concubines of the Sultan. In one phone call, who owned the flock at any time hazes on Shiru-san. Among them is anomaly, such as not can also be caused by close to absolute. Noble, prestigious of the opposite sex was also magic or several people. It is interesting is that lover kidnapping underwriting business. Well, 500,000 a mon quite easy. In any difficult opponent, because I called immediately Mizaru kidnapped. But is much trouble. To me it is not required to do so. Interesting better to do it yourself. And we have the technology presentations and showing doing always. So, I do not Yobi to us actually kidnapped. Talk want to hear. I want to hear your way. It just, in other words, instead of to give up the right of 500,000 yen. One of the most interesting likely example. You say that you want Nagai let 20. Tenten the first time of Kageotoko it is. Was surprised a small mustache gentleman. He mize and the gestures that spread next to both hands to the west flow. This is a do was surprised. Watakushi is. Does not give propose even before your customers of your name. If you look at the place where you say to so, your customers are, come a large predecessors of the road. There is also up to the other story say my, let there a long time ago you might guess. Quote, well, this is it might be your secret. Is I speak a secret. There is no worth of 500,000 yen. No. There is no mean to never talk generous. Everything even if I would like to frankly speaking. In Watakushi of way is that place in the belly of the open-heartedness of the people. By evil is only this. Sneaky and secret going to do each is. I from there so to speak amateur. Haluva, after all, you want to be friends. How about can you become friends? It's an honor of the stomacher. There just been I would like to ask for more of Watakushi. Teacher, your hand. Your hand. Quote, the two for each other holding hands. Small mustache of the hand is as white as a woman. Texture is finer. Was warm. In or let's say from me. The secret of your lover kidnapping. Edge from your customers. No, not specifically. It is the knack. Yes, let's ask. This is something to hear. There is such a fairy tale in the West, if there is wisdom's universal. The challenge is that the king is served. We pull off one after another. Mizaru doing exactly the impossible. Therefore, king, I tried to steal the bed yourself is he lying on the sheets in one of the overnight. Became the Lord said, then, wisdom person is, in the glove the lady. As of curry in your kitchen such was made the yellow muddy liquid. It had been gently thalassa on top of the king of the sheets. King is awake in the middle of the night, because around the waist or bedori, your examined surprised becomes, is yellow mushy, and, when the terrible shikajiri did, smell, pinched the nose, rounded the sheets, was thrown out of the window. Wisdom who picked it up? The next morning. Yes, this is I mean that is applied to your eyes to the king. All I am this hand. In other words, you get the other party of weakness. In the case of lover kidnapping, mainly I appeal to the other party of curiosity, not here to heroine, and the other party to the hero. It means there's a case where I even take honoraria from the other party. Quote, when the small mustache hear this, I hit the knee hitato. No, I roasted fear. Is it? The other party in the main character. Appeal to the other party of curiosity. one by one fine technique but is many, where attributable therein it. Actress Toka entertainer is also much famous people. Divided does not have, I because the thing is strong famous people as curiosity, even in much of the upstream of home wife. Also a young lady of boxed. There is a strong details on how, what and even means of curiosity. Poor is a poor gentleman of curiosity. Such are details on how, it even difficult to take you to this underground world. It is also, I have a completely different means. Quote, if this is the case, the work towards the customers of man. Edge, was what you say? I thought it would be probably so. It is me if I become your husband, the woman, causing garbled and nari lover. No, I was surprised. Usama is really Watakushi best friend. It is Camarado. Now, your hand again. Your hand. Soft hands of small mustache have clenched tightly. It was the hand of a voluptuous woman. He begins talking as it is. Either is this kind of example, personage of high-level officials of a certain old age. You may have yourself married one-third of young beautiful young lady of your year. Kageotoko was there are our customers. The young you're right and bring the bride. I do not even stand a week from the famous wedding. And, for that young lady that was not the bride, grew up to really discipline of all right. Feudal home in the one who, because things very shy personage. This your request was there is a challenge in the challenge. Watakushi is, because there is no way. I had to disguise customers. In other words, you corrupted your old man of the high-level officials. Watakushi, disguise surgery. We have studied many years. Special cosmetics, wigs, is taggy a false mustache. We have aligned all together. But I was completely disguised the customers. And we brought out from here to the ground world. On the other hand, your old man of high-level officials. To bring out the tea party of the famous Sosho. By some means, it had been pulled far into the night. Then, the customers, who were pretending to be your old man, that evening, was emptied to the mansion. Of course, not from the front gate. Must turn off the lock of the wicket door of the fence of the backyard. It was crowded shinobi from there like a thief. This will need a few minor part. One of the maid of the mansion also stayed for the ally. In advance, the phone takes a look-alike voice with your old man. Reportedly, because tonight is late. Young wife is to rest earlier. Before tea to rest, an appropriate amount of anesthetic is her put. Only marked with faint pillow lamp is in the bedroom. So I was going well. Customers also ran away from the wicket door of secretly garden. As to the later, it is not that your old man of genuine becomes your way. For example, do you say and caught me later? However, not bail. Properly it that psychology had entered the calculation. Shy, good discipline young wife is. Does not reveal that such is also dead. It means that full leave. On the backside of this world is why could the life of the secret to the young wife. What it is, I do not have a man was found. Quote, small mustaches distorted cute the fair of face. It was mice laughing and grinning at the bright red lips. It everything is also principle is simple. However, even if there is a deviation of the execution is difficult. Ichibuichiren, because you become very thing. That is, the absence of the plow at all attention. Is the talent hey, you will have your talent. Again, is a business that requires a genius. Quote, no, excuse me no home, either at all Hirosama. You need attention and talent to lead the army. There you will find a fun place. Here it is not the woman of the customers. If there only once, in rich widow, was the beautiful one who still lies between the 40. The order, famous actor Toka entertainers. So you're right that there is no unusual because it remains think at any time. Take sumo, athletes, college students, those things, such as in the Natajiri. Was there a horrible gentleman? And, the you say, to the one who is extremely a place retainers. You're right and I want to meet once. In other words, there is a high official in the high-ranking officials. However, in the case of a woman of customers, any difficulties likely your order to shimishite here, we really easy. In other words, in the hero of the other party, it arouses the curiosity. If shamukari is desired from the other party, you will find a longer infallible it. Just your customers is the same thing as became come here writing on the invitation of the old man of that white beard. Use the te appropriate invitation. If appropriately temptation, the more if the great man is what mosu and easily caught, geisha, etc. The person who I think is a woman of amateur famous beyond. Also because to effortlessly things. Let there be dual the same psychology. Also personage of officials during its officials. Karigaki from a banquet of left to the drunk. I was pleased to fulfill the hope of Watakushius of women's customers. Of underground kingdom hero. Small mustache gentleman, like the doctors of the universal. Submissive face, in honor of a gentle smile on red lips. She was staring the stare here in the face. Snake of people, for Kageotoko to a lifetime of business to explore the back side of life. Observations of underground panoramic country was one of the most enjoyable experience. He whereas not even bothered to carry out the usual extortion, said goodbye and promised a small mustache gentleman and friendship of the underground of the hero. He was back standing on the ground world. Then, become a Hayami Shokichi, but entered the luxury apartment of Kojimachi. Then, some of a number of requirements had been waiting in there. From A is Ryoko Yamagiwa one of his lover, and appeared to urge a business. Very often it was found that there was a phone call to him as soon as a telephone call to Ryoko. Want to see you as soon as possible. But be your delight. It was that tonight. To Ohama brought the daughter of alone. By then, I keep and finished other urgent requirements, and is waiting to open the body. At 7 of the promise, and the daughter of another alone in Ryoko came, the Hayami of Kageotoko, and Ji Ching the futari to the drawing room of the apartment, was type rear. Ryoko was the leisure daughter of wealthy home, but 24-year-old intelligent daughter has placed enrolled in the graduate school of S. University. Acquainted with Hayami of Kageotoko from casual things, will be his worshippers, which has become one of the lover. The post-war type owner of good looks met daughter that she was brought in booth Tsukai of millionaire Kawanami house. Just still come 20. Innocent. It was a humble girl. 2 daughters are subjected to long chair. It was Kageotoko and relative of the armchair. This person. I mean Chio-chan. Kawanami Yohitoshi. You know, the music for this simple booth Tsukai. I become acquainted with it there. Gonna have lovingly as my sister. This person. Lunch today too much in. It has been rushed to me of the place. I think that was delivered to the police. How to get out. Gonna cry. When listening to Try, I'm your world. Always of this world that have been asked from you on the back side. I guess darned incident. So, to say to the police and to put off. I did you take in? Will be to ask you. Quote. Ryoko is allowed drawn together the booth Tsukai was eloquently explained. It is. Thank you for coming. Because there is no promise anything tonight. Slowly story can be heard. Among the Kawanami-san. What's up? Quote. Kawanami man of Chinese medicine like a named Yohitoshi was known the world as post-war upstart. Surface was a pharmaceutical factory main, but did not know what are you doing in the back. Millionaire was wealthy enough to enter in until the third tens of rankings. Kawanami's I mean people, do you know? Ryoko is asked. No, I do not know only the name. When asked to Chio-chan, bad person of somehow feeling terribly vindictive. No seems people like a snake. The genius of making money, it is often oddball. Gonna seems it is not the most moderate. To say and sit still seen only are the eyes like cringe. Feeling like a snake also walk in the inner. Grinded NDE not footsteps hand. What there did sa gonna seems to be such as to somehow zo Chio-chan, to gift a talk. Booth Sukai of Chio, which had been looking down until then, been called, looked up as the hash. The pale face, only eyes glowing glare. Wife is I became unknown. But he does not also to try to find a husband. What wife? What kind of person? About a number? Ryoko is put in the mouth from the flank. Iyu young. I looks about Yamagi was beautiful. Is feeble person. I is to be. It's friendly people. Well, no such about me. So much no young. Husband is also always the wife was irashai jealous. Watashi kyo. That of the wife and the husband of your absence. Is the will of. Last night becomes a noisy harukiki. Place of wife to. Those of a man named Shinoda-san came. Are you a little older with younger wife? I guess you're friends from a previous marriage. Husband is. This Shinoda's. We irashai and most jealous was. When Shinoda's rumor comes out. Was about change it is husband of your face. The Shinoda-san. When you come to your room of the wife. I husband was nasu. Your way from the outside. Became so asked at you who is coming. And say and is Shinoda's. At the door. Husband of your complexion has changed quick. It was already late at night. Quote. Chio looked around with frightened eyes but also continues to speak. My husband is. Not as it is also change of clothes. Now enter to your room of the wife. After a while. By saying the bring a cup of coffee. Mr. Sadako is. Same booth Tsukai with me no. In your kitchen and I made and went with. Husband. A wife. A three-person Shinoda's. Long between. Was Irashai talking something? Because you say the go to another sleeping. Us. Will rest year. If noisy such no could. What is it apart from? What you should see in Watashi kyo. Then. When I wake up in the morning. Wife and Shinoda-san. And gone to somewhere. I cannot see. If you ask your husband. But you're right that it was a little traveling. Even if anyone heard of throughout our futari do not know that it has been starting. Everyone had wondered it was. Then. It was found to be this morning. Strange. Mansion of the garden. But it's also 500 square meters. Front yard of the parlor is. Following the better at the back. Weave the border me is narrower. To the border me of standing trees. It is the rope that are stretched over and over again all the way seamed. And each other also stretch the rope towards the back. Are you so as not to enter through anyone as to backyard in it? My husband is. I do not enter into that rope. And a scary face. She told us to Watashi kyo. I've garden number flip it was to listen to hate. But imperceptibly. We're gone. Jiya yesterday. With told her of her husband. In order to care of Hakone Villa of the garden. Is because I went to there. Since the thing unbearable wonder. Go to softly at the rope. Tried to Nizoko the better of the other side. But. Have lush trees. You cannot see anything. At that time. In the bushes. You hear a saw. Somehow a big snake. I feel was like coming here. Quote. Chio is there a little off the words. Saw the back gently. Like you or even suspicious things hidden in the side. Was a gesture of fear. Then. Suddenly. There to you the figure of her husband appeared. And. Still. I rash aru and glared at me. That your face. Really. I was like a human snake. Nothing Ashara in. Staring you I rash aru staring at my face. To pale face. Open only eyes were red like a rabbit. Mouth half. Had come out white teeth like fangs. Quote. The husband, is there a tooth such as such fang? No. I looked so. Really we are not their fang. Me. So that was mummy. The body is gone numb. It does not leave even as I plan to build a voice. Not Ashara anything. Husband. Which had been so for a while. Just Jito just I Rasharu staring here. Mind I thought or not it was different. In Shini Monogurui. Finally. I told you sorry we were able to walk in. And. I was a fledgling toward the main house. And then also stand was around 1 hour. We. Everyone. was called to the parlor. There it became to come sitting a husband like a snake, and, because the exit to a long journey tonight, do a ye all free time, evening by saying and so go out of here before the play. Gave me your allowance, respectively. So, I was gotten everyone you free. I, before returning to go to the place of Yamagi was consultation. I think that was delivered to the police. That's why such no I Ryoko is else taking draw. So, before delivering to the police, I think the time being is better to keep in your ears. What about the other callings angels? I wonder someone did not if you go to the police. No, the person who is such a thing as I think that there is no answer is Geo. I just saw a scary figure of my husband as I did not say that to anyone. Everyone. Habit Nasaru that the husband is erratic was. Also began new wealthy as I think to about. And, because the thing that came out a lot of your allowance. Everyone I did not intended to refer the complaint. Pleased everyone, and back to the inner. It will also store, factory also wonder there. I wonder if the better what was. I do not know well. Shops and factories. I think it would be as it is. Both by some people of the chief. What husband is also in your absence? You get along perfectly. Well, it has been found. You're welcome back anyway to out. You also Pearl River me the time being pulled up. After that if left to me. Oh, you wrote from it. The sketch of the Kawanamis here stay here. The Hayami of Kageotoko. Spread out the paper on the table and handed a pencil to Chio. She is thinking thought, and finished writing the sketch. Hayami is a question of strategic locations. The pattern of the house had completely put to my head. This is good. Come on, I'll be busy. Because there are various ready. So, Futaratomo, goodbye. He stood up with a smile. Chio is earlier. Ryoko has been out of the door later. At that time, Kageotoko is not known to Chio. Turn the hand on hip of Ryoko. Did not forget to dodge a quick kiss. Two of the neck. That night a time. To Kawanami house garden. Was moving black shadow. Moon also was also no dark night star. Black shadow seemed was riding past the fence. Duck during the night of the tree falling. Went around toward the back. The thing is, cover the entire head with a black undercover. Only in place of two of the eyes and mouth. The whole was vacant. The body, and black shirt stuck perfect. Wearing underpants. Had black gloves. Black socks. A few black yes. Needless to say, it is a shadow man disguised as protective coloration of the dark night. To be continued. Thank you for your viewing. If you like, please subscribe to the channel. I am very encouraged.